gonna get started with Japanese class today. 日本語クラス始めていきたいと思います。今日は、チャットが見えるように携帯で押してます。今日は1月、9日かな ?1 月9日です。Today's January 9th, right? 9日, that's irregular. But 1月 right? 1月9日土曜日 Saturday. So we'll get started. So hope everybody's doing well. So first we always start with hiragana. So we've been learning or reviewing or whatever it is for you. 5 characters per week, right? So this is 5th week already, 5th week of Japanese class. That's what it means, right? Excuse me. So we did aiueo, hakikuteko, sashisuseso. Then last week we did tachitsuteto. Today we will look at nani nu ne no. Nani nu ne no. Let me put that Japanese writing, but it's basically N, A, N, I, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. I'm getting messages that we don't have Japanese class, but we're doing it right now, and I can see myself, so no. Okay, so remember, so we have these 5 characters, na, ni, nu, ne, no, and we see, so now everybody's informed that we're online, so glad that you joined me. So na, the first one is starting with the left and right, and top to bottom. I think I had it wrong. You need this little thing first, then going down. Okay, sorry about that. And then that's na. And the second one is ni. Ni, you usually start with the left side, right? So it's ni, start with the vertical line with a little bit of the thing at the end. Ni, so it's kind of like ko on the right side. Top and go down. Nu looks a little complicated, but only 2 strokes. Right, start with the left, top to bottom, kind of diagonal, and then the second stroke is the other way. So it looks like that, right? So it goes all the way to the around, kind of like half circle, and then at the end, this little thing sticking out, like a little tail. Ne, start with a straight line here. Ne. Bottom, and then left to right, so go one way this way and go down and go like that, kind of like nu, but a little bit more of a maybe half of that ne, and then a little thing at the end. No is 1 stroke, start from the inside and going out. Many people have been able to join. Welcome, morning. So what are some of the words that are used in addition to what you've learned already? So the first 2 of nani is nani. Nani. My son knows this. Nani. What? What is it? It was a short term, so it's informal though. If you just say nani, it sounds informal. So like for my son, it's okay. He's 2.5. So you can point and ask nani. In a formal conversation, you might say nan desu ka? So it changes. But nani itself is nani is what? Nani. What is it? And then the second one, read this so you can see. So that's neko. Neko. Neko is cat. So neko. Some of you like cats. say. So can remember, neko. And the third one is this one, nasu. Remember we learned su on the third week. Nasu. Nasu is an eggplant. We eat a lot of eggplant. It's not as big as US. It's more like this kind of shape, but it's very popular, especially in summertime. It's a summer vegetable. In Japan, it has more of a season than here. So eggplants, nasu. And the fourth one is this. Can you read this? Sono. Sono. Sono is like that. So sono hon totte. So give me that book. Bring me that book. Sono hon. So it's like that. So it's like a little far, but you are indicating something, object, a little far, and that's sono. So, and kono is this, right? Which you can also write with kono. But kono, sono is like indicating this like placement of an object. And then the fifth one is this, nuno. I was like trying to think because nu is not a very common, doesn't have a word that I can think of that uses nu. So, but nuno is pretty like a generic term. Nuno is cloth. So nuno. So both two letters that we were going over today, right? Nuno is cloth. And kani, the last one on the bottom, kani. Kani is crab. So if you like crab, you want to remember that kani. Or if you go to ocean and see kani, it's like, it's kani. So you can remember that. Okay, I should have shown you the writing, how to write on YouTube. So let's do that. Here. So this is the one that we've been using every week to show the stroke how you write. Because if you write in the right order, it looks prettier in the sense that it looks kind of the way it should be. So here we go. Na. Okay, left to right, that's bottom. And you have the little thing first, and then go na. Ni. Go from the left. Okay. So again, this is 75%, like it's a little slower than the regular one. Ni. You don't have to go really around on that third one, but that's okay. Nu from the left and right, and then the little thing at the end could be a little short, smaller. This is might be. Ne. Start with a straight line. And then go to this second stroke. We do it at once, and the little thing at the end. And the last one is no. You can put, you can connect this, that's fine. No, it's one stroke. Okay, so that's nani no ne no for us today. Go back to this. Okay, so now you know 25 kanji, sorry, hiragana. So we will continue on, and probably after next week we'll have a little quiz again since we've done a couple weeks of this. So the next we will look at, so this is so this is Joseph, and English, Japanese, it's Yosefu, which you can see here. Yosefu, this is a non-Japanese name, so it's a katakana. So some of you this might not be familiar, but Yosefu, this is the story of Joseph. If you know his father, he had a nice rainbow, colorful gown. says, doesn't say rainbow, it's colorful. So because he has his dreams, everybody's bowing down to him. His brother got really jealous because he was already father's favorite. He's the youngest at that time. So the brothers like wanted to kill him, but they didn't kill him. But they sold him to the merchant. So he was taken to Egypt. So that's today's story. I have this one. So you see that the gown is down, and then he's taken to other country. He was taken to Egypt. And I have this in, actually this one is Spanish and English, bilingual one. It's a little crowded, but so Joseph was taken to Egypt and worked as a slave. And the brothers lied to the father and said that he's dead. So the father was very, very sad. 悲しい。たくさん泣きました。泣く is to cry. So he cried and he was very sad. So brothers like, well, it's all done and everything. Some brothers felt worse than others of what they've done. But so the next sentence is the one that I wanted to look at here. Even though it looks like, okay, this brother was sold as a slave and working hard, and it's like life is terrible. But the sentence here in English, God had a magnificent dream for Joseph's life. So this is a sentence. So the word first for, I think it's hard to see the Romaji I wrote. Try to be helpful, but it's very hard to see. So you know this. Kami-sama wa, you know this too. Kami-sama is God. Kami-sama wa, Yosefu. Yosefu is Joseph, right? Yosefu no tameni, for Joseph, God for Joseph, omoigakenai. Omoigakenai is unexpected. Subarashi. Subarashi is wonderful. Keikaku. Keikaku is plan. O yoi shite orareta. So yoi is to get it ready. Yoi shite, yoi suru is to get ready. And orareru is like a yoi shite orareru, whole thing is prepare. But orareru is like do, but making God higher. So it's one of those respective words that you eventually need to learn. So basically, as a whole thing, I'll read again slowly. Kami-sama wa Yosefu no tameni omoigakenai subarashii keikaku o yoi shite orareta. So God had a magnificent, this is like one word in English somehow, the unexpected and wonderful. I guess Japanese interpreted that way, but a magnificent dream for Joseph's life. So, he doesn't know, Joseph doesn't know, but so he's just trying to work hard and given circumstances. But God can do anything. God would use everything to help make a dream come true. God, the dream that he had last time. So trees. This looks like my somehow with the little bird, right? The ibis. So God would use everything that was happened to Joseph to do something good. But in Egypt, things aren't going well. It was really bad. He was in a foreign country, don't know anything. I mean, it's very difficult. And this is summarizing a lot. So he had a good, somewhat, he had employment, but somebody blamed on him for something that he didn't do, and he got in jail. So that's the picture here, that he's in jail. But here, this sentence, this is the sentence I wrote as a focus point. But God was with Joseph. So, but, demo is a word but. Demo, again, this word is kami-sama. Kami-sama is God. Kami-sama wa Yosefu no, Yosefu is Joseph, right? Yosefu no soba ni orareta. Yosefu no soba, orareta. そうだよ。He repeats a lot in any language, English, Spanish, Japanese. Soba ni orareta. Soba is close by, and orareru is to be, but making God higher. So that's why it's sort of, yeah, you see that at the end of the first sentence, so we talked about orareta. Orareta. It's like, it's a word to you respect God, right? Sort of changes the verb, kind of like a conjugate. But so what this one I'll read again. Demo, Kami-sama wa Yosefu no soba ni orareta. So, but God was with Joseph. So everything is terrible. Like, if we look at it in perspective, like, you're a slave and like things are terrible. It doesn't seem like there's a way to get out of the situation. But God was with Joseph, and we understand that Joseph has been very faithful to God, even though the circumstances are really bad. So, we don't see what's going to happen tomorrow, day after tomorrow, 10 years from now, how long we have in this earth. But God has everything. He knows everything. He knows everything about us and how we're going to live. So trusting Him, He will bring wonderful things to you. So we'll keep trusting Him and moving on to learn. So today we looked at these areas from Soseiki. Genesis is Soseiki. It's Soseiki. When you say it though, it's Soseiki. So that sounds like that. But Soseiki is everything the hiragana that we've learned, right? So Seiki. And chapter 39, so 39 sho is chapter. Numbers, well, we could do another day, but 39 is sun is sun, sanju is ju, so 30 will be sanju, 39, 39 is sanju. So that's where we looked at from Genesis chapter 39. That's where this area comes from. So we'll keep looking at Joseph's life and how God brings things together for him and his family. So, okay, so this is for this part. Now we will look at the Marugoto textbook. Let's move on. Any questions? You can put it in the chat. I will try to address it. Nani? So nani? I am asking what? Nani? Nani? Like okay. So let's look at nani? Nani? Okay. So we were looking at. Okay. So we were looking at, this is lesson 3 of Marugoto book, and we went, number 2, we were looking at 1, 2, 3 last week. So let's do 4 and 5. You may vaguely remember that this was asking, one person was asking where you from, And then the other person responds from which country or not. So, and then we plug in the letters here. So it's a listening exercise. One son came from Chugoku, China here. Number two, Kim-san came from Kakoku. And then Muhammad-san came from Egypt. So we only have Christina-san and Joy-san. Only thing left is Deutsch, which is Germany, Deutsch. And then Australia. So it's like everything is flat, like when you say in Japanese here. Australia. So those are the two left. So you can kind of focus on listening to those words, Deutsch or Australia, right? So here we go. Maybe should we hear this?
4. クリスティーナさんはどちらからですか？ドイツです。ドイツのどちらから？ケルンです。ケルンですか。
Sorry, I know I keep moving this thing. But be able to hear Christina. Let's hear it again and see if she's from Deutsch or Australia. Okay. And then which part of this country where she's from. That's what it's also mentioned.
Right? Okay. 4. クリスティーナさんはどちらからですか？ドイツです。ドイツのどちらから？ケルンです。ケルンですか。
Okay, so Christina-san はどちらからですか? So that's a keyword here. どちらからですか? So Deutsch, Germany, so be the A, and Deutsch ですね. So, and where in Germany? So she said Kirun. It's different or not. But it's from the place called Kirun in Germany. So that's number 4. So now we know what the answer for number 5, but we will hear it anyway because we want to make sure that you hear the keyword. So let's listen to this.
5. ジョイさんはどちらから？すみません。もう一度お願いします。はい。どちらからですか？私はオーストラリア人です。そうですか。
Okay, so this has a little bit of a twist to it. Joy-san, right? So we know that she's from Australia because that's the only option left. But she had to ask again, right? So let's hear it.
ジョイさんはどちらから？
So Joy-san はどちらから? So usually, well, number 4 at least, どちらからですか? Right? So that's a formal. ですか makes it a little more formal. But this person asked どちらから? So he cut this last 3 out. So maybe Joy-san got a little. Okay.
すみません。もう一度お願いします。
So Joy-san got a little bit like confused, I guess. So すみません。excuse me. もう一度お願いします。もう一度お願いします。One more time, please. もう一度お願いします。Okay? So that's okay to ask, of course. If you don't understand, it's better to ask than answering a random thing and not being able to have a conversation. It's also correct to say どちらから. It makes it a little informal. So if you're talking to an older person, or you just want to be formal because you're meeting that person for the first time, it's safer to say どちらからですか to make it formal, a little more formal. Okay, so Joy-san asked to repeat.
はい。どちらからですか？
So this gentleman said, "Hi, okay. どちらからですか?" So that textbook thing, like how the textbook says, where are you from? Where are you from? どちらからですか? This is exactly how it's written here. Okay.
私はオーストラリア人です。
So Joy-san said, 私はオーストラリア人です. So she said I'm Australian. Jin, right? If you put Jin at after the country, some exceptions, but in general, I'm the person of Australia. So you could say that way. I mean, because you get the meaning out of it, right? She's obviously from Australia if she's Australian. So it's fine. Or you can say Australia because the person asking where you're coming from, and you can say Australia this. I'm from Australia. Just simply saying Australia this is fine too. And anything else?
そうですか。
Right, so the last one was そうですか? Oh, I see. So that's the exercise number 2. And next one is also listening. And can they speak the language? できますか? So 日本語できますか? So can you speak Japanese? できる means to be able. So it's like not necessarily speak, but that's what it refers to. So we want to either say yes, circle, or no. Can't speak that language. So let's look at Tanaka-san. Number 1 is Tanaka-san. It says hello. So you are we suppose that when you're talking about English, he can do English to Tanaka-san.
1、田中さんは英語できますか？はい、少しできます。そうですか。
Okay, so let's hear it again. This one is an example one, so you have an answer. So you know that he can speak English, but how much? Let's hear again.
1、田中さんは英語できますか？はい、少しできます。そうですか。
Okay, so first one,
1、
the person asks.
田中さんは英語できますか？
So 田中さんは英語 is English, right? So 英語できますか? 田中さん can you speak English, right?
はい、少しできます。
So he says, はい、少しできます。少し is a little bit. I'm not sure if he's very humble because a lot of Japanese people say, oh, no, I speak a little, and then like you're talking, I can talk. So some people are very humble about their ability. The Tanaka-san says, 少しできます。はい、少し。はい、yes. はい、少しできます。
そうですか。
そうですか is I see. I see. We read that a little earlier. そうですか. Okay, so number 2, Yamada-san here. And this looks like Chinese to me. So probably asking Yamada-san if she can speak Chinese. Let's listen to see if she can or cannot. So that's what we are trying to just, listen and decide, determine.
2、山田さんは中国語できますか？はい、できます。中国語は面白いです。そうですか。
Okay. So let's hear it again. Yamada-san in Chinese.
2、山田さんは中国語できますか？ はい、できます。中国語は面白いです。そうですか。
Okay, so do we hear if it's yes or no? Okay, yes. So you heard hi, できます. So hi is yes, right? So that's like the key thing. Let's break it down.
2、山田さんは中国語できますか？
Okay, so ano is like that. 山田さんは中国語できますか？山田さん can you speak Chinese? できますか？中国語、中国 is China. Chinese is 中国語できますか？
はい、できます。
はい、so you heard clearly. はい、できます。はい is yes. You can. Okay, so that's really simple. Right?
中国語は面白いです。
中国語は面白いです。中国語は、so Chinese is a subject. 中国語は面白いです。It's interesting. Chinese is interesting. Chinese language is interesting. 面白い。
そうですか。
そうですか。I see. So number 2 is yes. Number 3, 野田さん. This one looks Hangul language, so Korean. So let's see if Noda-san can speak Korean.
3、野田さんは韓国語ができますか？いいえ、できません。ああ、そうですか。
Okay, let's hear it again.
3、野田さんは韓国語ができますか？いいえ、できません。ああ、そうですか。
Okay, so the key word was いいえ、できません。いいえ is no. So kind of tells us, okay, you can't do that. So, but here, let's break it down.
野田さんは韓国語ができますか？
野田さんは韓国語ができますか？韓国語 is Korean. できますか？野田さん can you speak Korean?
いいえ、できません。
いいえ、できません。So, no, I can't. So, you're eliminating 韓国語ができません. He just said, いいえ、できません. It's because you know what the conversation is about, you can just say できません. And that's okay.
ああ、そうですか。
そうですか. So everybody's like, そうですか, right? It's like, okay. It's kind of similar. That's what we use. そうですか. Okay, I see. So, そうですか. そう、野田さんは韓国語ができないですね。で、number 3 is so number 4 is 佐藤さん。See?
4、佐藤さんはアラビア語できますか？すみません、できません。アラビア語は難しいですね。
はい。This one's a little different from number 3 or 2. Let's listen to it again. If Sato-san can speak Arabic or not.
4、佐藤さんはアラビア語できますか？すみません、できません。アラビア語は難しいですね。
はい。So that probably the key word is できません。Noda-san said いいえできません。佐藤さん didn't say いいえ but できません is a negative word, so I can't. So from that, we can say she can't speak Arabic, but let's look at one by one.
4. 佐藤さんはアラビア語できますか？
So 4. Number 4. 佐藤さんはアラビア語できますか？ So 佐藤さん can you speak Arabic? アラビア語。
すみません、できません。
すみません。できません。So すみません is like I'm sorry. She doesn't have to say sorry, but sort of, oh, I'm sorry, I can't. できません。You hear that a lot about in Japan. できません。It's no, I can't. So that indicates that she can't speak Arabic, so it's X there.
アラビア語は難しいですね。
アラビア語は難しいですね。アラビア語は、so that's the subject of the Arabic is 難しい。You know what 難しい means? 難しい is difficult. ですね is like you are kind of putting an agreement, don't you agree? Kind of thing to the person Sato-san is speaking to. So Sato-san is Arabic is difficult, isn't it? Like that. So yeah, Sato-san doesn't speak Arabic. So number 5, Abe-san, probably German. You don't have to know what these languages come from. You can still do the exercise, right? But more familiarity you can have with each situation, it's easier to answer because you can focus on, what to listen to. So that's why I'm giving a little bit of sort of, I guess what the language is about. So Abe-san, what she can speak German right now.
5. 安倍さんはドイツ語ができますか？はい、少しできます。今、勉強中です。勉強中。へえ、そうですか。
Okay, so maybe you heard a keyword, but let's hear it again.
5. 安倍さんはドイツ語ができますか？はい、少しできます。今、勉強中です。勉強中。へえ、そうですか。
Okay, so did you hear hi? So that's yes, right? Let's hear little by little.
5. 安倍さんはドイツ語ができますか？
安倍さんはドイツ語ができますか？安倍さんはドイツ語ができますか？安倍さん can you speak German? ドイツ語 is German.
はい、少しできます。
はい、少しできます。Yes, I can speak a little bit. 少し again, somebody else said that. I think Tanaka-san said that, right? He said he speaks English a little bit. So Abe-san also saying she can speak German a little bit. 少しできます。
今、勉強中です。
今、勉強中です。You can use that phrase too. 今 is now. 勉強中です。勉強中 is I'm studying. I'm in the middle of studying. So it's not like I'm just studying right now, but in general, you are studying Japanese, so then you can say 今勉強中です。So 日本語できますか？ So somebody could say サウルさん、日本語できますか？ And サウルさん can say はい、少しできます。今勉強中です。Right? Something like that.
勉強中。へえ、そうですか。
勉強中 Oh, you're studying. 勉強中。そうですか。Oh, I see. The person was on saying something else, I don't know. But that later think, oh wow, you're studying, So that is this exercise. I hope you got it. So, hi, iie is yes, no, and also dekimasen is a negative indication of negative, right? So, no, I can't. So, this is sort of like let's practice, but for example, どちらから Where are you from? So that's what we did like before, right? どちらから Where are you from? This said 中国 let's say 中国 is China, right? But エクアドルです。From Ecuador. どちらからどちらからですか We say エクアドルです。そうですか。Oh, I see. スペイン語できますかスペイン語できますか So, スペイン語 is Spanish. Do you speak Spanish? So, はい、できます。So, you can say, はい、できます。The first one. Big smile. So, in, どちらからですかニカラグアです。ニカラグアです。Right? We have a listener from Nicaragua and also Ecuador. That's why it's that. そうですか。I see. 日本語できますか So, はい。少しできます。勉強中です。Right? So, はい。Yes, I speak a little bit. 勉強中です。I'm studying. So you can respond and have that conversation. So that's to practice if you'd like. And let's move on to this. So this is お仕事はお仕事は because there's question mark, you want to kind of go upward. でお仕事は like a question tone. お仕事は so have some vocabs that it's good to know. So A is 教師 teacher, right? And B is 学生 student 学生 C 公務員 is like a local government worker, and teachers are also considered because they're employed by the government. 公務員 but this one in particular is like working guy working in the city hall or something like that. 公務員 so if you're looking for county, right, you can say 公務員. D is 主婦 is a homemaker. Actually, this has a woman picture, but if you're a man, it's also 主婦. It's just the kanji would be different. So could be either gender or could be anybody. 主婦 doesn't have that gender connotation now because it used to be more women staying home and being homemaker, but it's not like that, in this age. So homemaker, 主婦. That's a lot of work. So you can be so proud to be a homemaker. And then 会社員. 会社員 is like employee and not of a big company or like office work type thing, as you can see in the picture. 会社員. And then the F is engineer. Engineer. This is, the engineer is a foreign term. I think that's why engineer is also in so I need to see if there are other words, okay, of different kind of occupations. If you're doing something special that you want to know what you say, how to say your profession, you can put in the chat box and ask. But Isha is a medical doctor. Isha. Have that. So 介護士 is a care worker. Here is probably like CNA type, like a certified nursing assistant type work, but they have a special sort of position that does a care worker, care, like do a care around the person who needs help, elderly person who, is mostly elderly, because aging is such a big public health challenges right now. But if you have injury or you're paralyzed and some of the limbs, you can get help from kaibushi as well. They can help with daily stuff like bathing, because bathing, like in Japan, they bathe themselves in a bathtub. That's kind of how it is. So having that, it's good. Like Japanese people want that. So, but needing help to bathe in the bathtub, or put themselves in the bathtub, so the kaibushi can help with that. Say that we talked about 学生 students. 看護師 is a nurse. It's also gender neutral. I think everything is gender neutral now. Used to be a different term, but yeah, nurses could be any, right? So 看護師 is gender neutral. 教師 teacher. 公務員 the civil servant. That 自営業 if you have your own business, you have your own store, restaurant, 自営業 self-employed, could be other type of self-employment. 自営業主婦 is a homemaker. 農家 farmer. 農家 so this has this like a pronunciation Q, 農家 so it goes down. And then here it says アルバイト or バイト. This also has, you can see アルバイト. This is part-time job. This one's also part-time job. This is パートタイム or パート. Then how to distinguish it? I was thinking about that. アルバイト is when you are not married and working part-time. You could be actually working full-time with arubaito, but most more commonly part-time. Like in high school, you work at a Cold Stone or ice cream shop, like that's arubaito or baito. A restaurant, even in college or whatnot, you might do something on the side, even though you have a full-time job. That could be baito, but it's not a formal full-time employee. But you're working for this company. That's baito. But if you're married, that's kind of how we use it. It's strange that it's a different terminology. But if you're married, like I'm a mom and I want to work at a supermarket or do some part-time job, then that's pato. And that's just kind of how we use it. So pato, more the part-time job for the moms or dads. Pato. And these are other locations. So if you're working if you're kaishain, which is an employee, you work at kaisha. Kaisha is a company, a building. Right? Gakko is a school in general. 病院 is a hospital. 病院. Right? And then something で働いている. So 会社で働いています。会社で働いています。病院 right? Hospital 病院で働いています。So I work at a hospital, or I work at a company, like you can put together and say. So those are the terms that would be applicable here. So let's hear this. So you have these 6 options, and by listening, see, figuring out what this person is doing.
1、お仕事は？私は主婦です。
Okay, so お仕事は what is your job? What is your occupation? What is your job? Let's hear it again. What was the word that was said after お仕事は？私は something. Yes, that's what how I heard. Let's hear it again.
1、お仕事は？私は主婦です。1、お仕事は？
お仕事は what is your job?
私は主婦です。
Okay, 私は主婦です。主婦。D. So we have the answer here already. 私は主婦です。So it's the homely. Number 2, which doesn't have an answer, so we gotta hear, listen to it carefully. So what are, we have these options. Which one is the second one? I'll show you the picture so you can figure it out.
2、お仕事はエンジニアです。
Okay. One more time. お仕事は and the person say is
2、お仕事はエンジニアです。
はい。So お仕事は what is your job? And this gentleman said エンジニアです。エンジニア。I'm an engineer. エンジニアです。So 私はエンジニアです is long and formal, but because he's asking me, say me a question, you don't have to say I, like Spanish, you don't have to say the subject. エンジニアです。So 私はエンジニアです。For short, エンジニアです。So it's F. Okay, number 3.
3、お仕事は何ですか？公務員です。
はい。聞いてみましょう。はい。Let's hear it again.
3、お仕事は何ですか？公務員です。
はい。So it was a little different the way they asked this woman. So let's hear it a little.
3、お仕事は何ですか？
お仕事は何ですか？ So お仕事は is a short of お仕事は何ですか？ What is your job? So 何ですか is what is. Okay, so what is your job? So it was like longer, but asking the same thing. What is your job? So
公務員です。
it's like公務員です。公務員 is this C. So number three is C. So sign it gives a number each time. And so 公務員, the civil servant, and the civil servant. Okay. Number 4.
4、
4.
お仕事は？会社員です。コンピューターの会社です。
Okay.
4、お仕事は？会社員です。コンピューターの会社です。
Okay. So did you hear 会社員? 会社員. So,
4、お仕事は？
お仕事は So it's again this, the shorter version. お仕事は
会社員です。コンピューターの会社です。
会社員です。I'm an employee. コンピューターの会社です。So at a computer company, can't tell from that, but that's what he said. It's a company that makes or sells computer, maybe both. コンピューターの会社です。So I think that was 5, right?
5、お仕事は何ですか？ 教師です。
Sorry, that was 4. So that was well, number 4 was E. Number 5 is you start to hear.
日本語の教師です。
Okay, let's hear it
5
again.
お仕事は何ですか？教師です。日本語の教師です。
Okay.
Go.
Still here little by little.
お仕事は何ですか？
お仕事は何ですか? What is your job? The longer form.
教師です。
教師です。教師。教師 is this one. A, teacher.
日本語の教師です。
日本語の教師です。So I'm a Japanese teacher. Right. Right. So what's left is actually one thing, number B, but let's hear it. 学生, you want to hear that word?
6お仕事は何ですか？私は学生です。
Okay, so again.
6お仕事は何ですか？
お仕事は何ですか? What is your job?
私は学生です。
私は学生です。So this one, she says, I am, right? 私は学生です。学生. I'm a student. So I'm not working, but I'm studying. So that's your primary thing you're doing. So it's probably great. Okay, so we've done a lot of listening today. Hope you got some of that keywords in and enjoy the exercise. So we'll keep going next time with lesson 3, continuing on. And we'll have Bible study now at 11, 1 minute, probably maybe a few minutes after. But you can tune in Facebook Live or by Zoom if you have the link. So I hope you can join. I'll be interpreting everything into Japanese so you can hear like a live Japanese. So hope you enjoy the lesson, and I will see you next week. So thank you for being part of this, and so you will review Nani Nune no and everything before if you need a refresher. So I'll post the link on today's video so you can review Nani Nune no.